Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Randy.
Since we founded Bombas, we've always said our socks, underwear, and T-shirts are super soft. Any new ideas?
Maybe sublimely soft.
Or disgustingly cozy.
Wait, what?
I got it. Bombas. Absurdly comfortable essentials for yourself
and for those facing homelessness.
Because one purchased equals one donated.
Wow, did we just write an ad?
Yes.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase.
Millions of people have lost weight with personalized plans from Noom. Like Evan, who can't stand salads and still lost 50 pounds.
Salads generally for most people are the easy button, right? For me, that wasn't an option. I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. But Noom worked for me.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom user compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
Hello, I'm Josh Hallam. Welcome back to another Just Films and That New Release review. At this time, I'm going to be reviewing Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, which I will, of course, be calling Furiosa throughout this because, frankly, life is too short for the second bit. As with the others, I will try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but if you don't want to know anything at all, make sure you give this a listen after you've seen it, as I will touch on things that are also featured in the trailer. I will also say as well, this probably will contain spoilers for other Mad Max films as well. So, in terms of the plot, it is a prequel to 2015's Mad Max Fury Road and focuses on Charlize Theron's Furiosa and how she became the fearsome warrior that we meet in Fury Road. This time around, she's played by Anya Taylor-Joy as we find a younger Furiosa being forged in the fires of a personal vengeance mission against Chris Hemsworth's villain, Dementus. Okay, so let's get into it then. There is so much to like about this film, there really is. So I'll try and focus on a few of the salient points. It looks and it feels and it sounds like nothing you've ever really seen before beyond perhaps other Mad Max films, Fury Road in particular. It's like every time they make one of these films, they make us wait, but then they make it worth our while with a cinematic experience like this. It really is quite a visual treat. A lot of that, of course, comes down to George Miller, the director, and the world he and his team have created. It just feels so rich and complete. It's dry, it's dirty, it's sweaty, it's smelly, to the point where it's almost acrid in the way that you can feel it as the viewer. It sounds great as well, so they somehow managed to create a symphony of engine sounds, and it's all accompanied by a really great thumping score. A real testament to this is that it is set in a desert wasteland that feels like the most hopeless place to exist, and yet it's more of a sensory engaging experience than literally most other films I can think of that are set in places with, actual stuff around them. So the way I'd say it's different from the other Mad Max films is that it feels a little bit more like a war film than anything else, or it did to me. The action is absolutely superb as well. It's shot and edited in that way that makes it almost feel like a seamless take without also reveling in the fact that it's doing that and patting itself on the back. It's so immersive. So when you're watching, you're bouncing between all these mad vehicles and characters as everything is just speeding along at hundreds of miles an hour. There's some great performances in this as well, with the two main ones being Chris Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy, who both give equally brilliant performances, but that really juxtapose against each other. Hemsworth, he really shines as this sort of grotesque character called Dementus. I mean, he is vile in this. The fact they've managed to make him look as vile as he looks in this is just another tick in the box for the costume and makeup team, because that can't have been easy. But he's definitely worked to create a character as well. You can tell, particularly in the way that you can always see when an actor has built a character because they've focused on the building blocks of a person, if you like. And what I mean by that is the way he uses his posture, or in particular, I thought the way he uses his voice. He's got this sort of slightly squeaky voice that really goes against the fact that he's a big, massive sort of brute of a guy in this as well. Anya Taylor-Joy as well. So she's got a lot less dialogue, as has been reported on, but she has a lot to do with her physicality and her facial expressions, which she does in this really magnetic and enthralling way. So she's a big part of these extended action scenes, which look like they were probably really physically intense to do. So, absolutely fair play to her. They're both brilliant. And shout out to Tom Burke as well, who does bring some good emotional heart and likability to his character in this as well. Leading on from that, as I've already said, there isn't much dialogue relative to other films of this kind in that sort of budget and that sort of, the sort of spectacle and stuff like that. But there are one or two scenes, extended scenes of characters interacting, and My God, the script for those bits is poetic. I mean, particularly one of the final scenes. There's two characters talking, and it almost felt like this mixture of the best parts of Shakespeare and Greek tragedy and things like that. So the fact they managed to balance this incredible action and this really beautiful dialogue, I think, is nothing short of a sublime marvel to me. I mean, it goes to, for me. It goes to show if you've let a director build a team around him, build a project based on their vision and give them time, then you know what? You might actually get something good. You know, if you just let the director do their job. Oh my God, I wish he'd made his Justice League film. Anyway, in terms of dislikes, there really isn't much for me. It's definitely not one that's going to be to everyone's tastes. It's quite violent. It's quite affecting in places in terms of the violence, and it's quite grotesque in places as well. But nothing's to everyone's taste, so that's probably a little bit of an oxymoron. There's the odd pacing issue, particularly in the first half, but nothing criminal. And I think that's likely a side effect of the overall runtime and the fact it really gives the film a chance to breathe and gives it all this epic feel, which just added to the overall enjoyment of it. So see, I do like some films that are over 2 hours. But anyway, get out there, give it a watch. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Cheerio.